Chapter 994. Miss Ahui, Miss Ale, wait for me for a while. I'll go to Lishui City with you after my injuries have stabilized. Lu Ming said. Well, you heal yourself. We'll keep a lookout for you. Ahui said. Then she and Ale walked to the side to keep a lookout for Lu Ming. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. He then closed his eyes to recuperate. After this period of cultivation, Lu Ming's body had reached the peak of level 8. His recovery ability was extremely amazing. Combined with the true dragon fighting skill, he began to heal quickly. After half an hour, Lu Ming's injuries had stabilized and his genuine ether had recovered by 20%. Of course, with Ahui and Ale's cultivation, they naturally could not see Lu Ming's cultivation realm. Miss Ahui, Miss Ale, I'm almost done. We can set off. Lu Ming said. So soon? Ahui said with some surprise. My injuries are not too serious. I'll heal myself properly when we reach Lishui City. Lu Ming said. Oh, that's good. Is your little tortoise okay? Ahui looked at Dandan on Lu Ming's shoulder. At this time, Dandan was still twitching. It's okay. It'll be fine after twitching for a while. Lu Ming said casually. This made Dandan gnash its teeth. What did he mean by, it'll be fine after twitching for a while? Then, the three of them rose into the air and left for Lishui City. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, what appeared in front of them were rivers and lakes dotted on the ground. Looking from the sky, they looked like pearls. This was a water town. The three of them chatted as they hurried along. Lu Ming had a rough idea of where this place was. The most powerful force in this water town was Floating Mountain. Floating Mountain was an overlord force in Zhongzhou State. In fact, Lu Ming had a rough understanding of Zhongzhou State before he came to Zhongzhou State. The middle continent was vast and boundless. It was at least 7 or 8 times larger than the eastern wilderness. Furthermore, it was a blessed land with countless grotto heavens and blessed lands. The heaven and earth spiritual chi was rich, and cultivation flourished there. Throughout history, there were countless geniuses and experts. It was the center of the divine wilderness continent. In the middle continent, the eastern wilderness could not compare to the number and quality of geniuses. The central continent ancient Saint dynasty was undoubtedly the oldest and largest force in the central continent. In fact, central continent was completely under the rule of the ancient sage dynasty tens of thousands of years ago. The ancient sage dynasty had been around for a long time. Legend had it that it had been around for 1,000,000 years. For the past 1,000,000 years, the central continent had been under the rule of the ancient sage dynasty. The central continent had been prosperous and powerful. There were many geniuses and experts, far above the eastern wilderness. By then, not only the middle continent, but even the eastern wilderness, Nanming, and other territories would have to submit to the ancient Saint dynasty. However, all of this changed drastically tens of thousands of years ago. Tens of thousands of years ago, an invincible figure had appeared in the Xie clan of the ancient Saint dynasty. He had started a rebellion, and the ancient Saint dynasty had experienced an unprecedented civil war. That war was earth-shattering. Countless experts had died, and even many sovereigns had fallen. After that war, the strength of the ancient Saint dynasty's royal family declined rapidly. They could no longer control the vast territory of the central continent. After that, the central continent entered the era of the sovereigns. For tens of thousands of years, various overlords had ruled over a region and fought for supremacy. Outside of these overlords, there were countless smaller forces that relied on the overlords and fought endlessly. Now the central continent was even more chaotic than the eastern wilderness. The Floating Mountain sect occupied a vast territory in the eastern part of the central continent. They were the overlords of a region, and they had sovereigns. They were extremely powerful, and were not weaker than forces like the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, and the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lishui City was a city under the jurisdiction of the Floating Mountain sect. The Xiao clan, where Ahui and Ale were from, was a small clan in Lishui City. The Xiao sisters were very innocent, and did not have any ulterior motives. They felt that Lu Ming was a good person, so they treated Lu Ming as a friend. Whatever Lu Ming asked, they would answer. During the conversation, Lu Ming learned that their mother had passed away after they were born. A few years ago, Their father had also fallen while adventuring outside. Now they had been following their grandfather, Xiaozhan, the patriarch of the Xiao clan. However, some time ago, Xiaozhan entered the Chaos Mountain Range in search of a kind of spiritual medicine. He did not expect to be bitten by a 7-colored poisonous snake, and was still unconscious. The reason why the two sisters came to the Chaos Mountain Range was to find the 7-colored poisonous snake's nest, and the accompanying spiritual medicine of the 7-colored poisonous snake to save Xiaozhan. Unfortunately, after searching for many days, they did not even find a trace of the 7-colored poisonous snake. Later they met Lu Ming. "Maybe I can save your grandfather's poison," Lu Ming said. This made the Xiao sisters pause. Their eyes widened as they said, You can really save him?" The alchemist said that the poison had already spread throughout my grandfather's body. Unless there's the accompanying spiritual medicine of the 7-colored poisonous snake, it would be hard to save him. As they said this, the eyes of the two sisters started to turn red again. "I have cultivated a kind of secret technique before. I have some experience in detoxification," Lu Ming said. The 9 dragons' bloodline could swallow all kinds of poison. If someone was poisoned, it could also swallow the poison out. "Really? You can't side with us?" Ahui's eyes were filled with hope. The two sisters looked at Lu Ming without blinking. And Lu Ming nodded his head solemnly. "That's great." The two sisters beamed with joy. 2 days later, Lishui City appeared in front of their eyes. Lishui City was very grand. Even though it couldn't be compared to 9 Dragons City, which was a colossus, it was still extremely vast. On the streets, people walked to and fro. All of them were in high spirits. There were a lot of experts. Just by strolling through one street, Lu Ming had already discovered quite a number of strong practitioners of spirit embryo realm. On both sides of the street, there were many shops. Lu Ming looked around curiously. The customs of the central continent were very different from the East Desolation. It was filled with exotic customs. After passing through a few streets, a huge mansion appeared in front of them. He had arrived at the Xiao family. The two sisters were the precious granddaughters of the Xiao family's patriarch. Naturally, they didn't stop him. Lu Ming followed the two sisters and entered the Xiao family. However, when they walked past a courtyard, they were stopped by a young man. The young man was about 25 or 26 years old. He wore a sapphire green long robe with a jade belt around his waist and golden boots on his feet. Xiaoning. Seeing this young man, the two sisters frowned slightly. "Ahui Ale, where have you been these few days?" The young man asked. "Where we go is none of your business." Ahui curled her lips and said, "None of my business? Don't you know that the two of you are now related to the future of the Xiao family? If anything happens to you, you won't be able to bear the consequences." Xiaoning's gaze turned cold as he said, What future of the Xiao family? It's your future." Ahui mocked. "I can't be bothered to talk to you." Xiaoning opened the fan in his hand and gently waved it. He then turned his gaze towards Lu Ming and frowned. "Who is this person?" "Ahui, don't bring any Tom, Dick or Harry into the family. If others know, they will laugh at you. This is my and Ale's friend. He is here to treat his injuries. You can't do anything about it. Also, Big Brother Lu can cure grandfather's poison. When the time comes, he will be an important guest of the Xiao family." Chapter 995. Lu Ming stood at the side and watched quietly without making a sound. Ale explained to him in a low voice that this person was their second uncle's son and their cousin. Their relationship with the two of them was not good. He can cure grandfather's poison? Nonsense. Many alchemists couldn't cure him. How can this kid cure him? Don't be fooled by this kid. Xiaoning raised his eyebrows and said loudly, Brother Lu is our friend. Why would he lie to us? If we don't let Brother Lu try, how would we know that Brother Lu can't do it? Alright, get out of the way. With that, Ahui pulled Lu Ming, bypassed Xiaoning and walked inside. Xiaoning's face was gloomy. Ahui brought Lu Ming around a few courtyards and finally came to a guest room. She said, Brother Lu, you can stay here and heal your injuries. When you're better, it won't be too late to cure grandfather's poison. Alright. Lu Ming nodded. After chatting for a while, The two sisters bid farewell and left. Lu Ming walked into the room and closed the door. He sat cross-legged on the bed and began to heal his injuries. The battle dragon true essence circulated throughout his body and seeped into the depths of his body. Lu Ming's injuries were quickly recovering. In fact, during the 2 days on the road, Lu Ming's body was automatically recovering. Up until now, he had recovered a lot. Bang! 10 minutes later, while Lu Ming was healing his injuries, the door was pushed open. A youth stood at the door with a cold face. Lu Ming's body trembled slightly. He opened his eyes and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Xiao Ning, the one who pushed open the door, was Xiao Ning. Fortunately, Lu Ming's control was strong enough. He also paid attention and didn't put all his heart into it. Otherwise, if he was suddenly disturbed during his cultivation, he would be injured at best. At worst, he would go berserk. "What do you want?" Lu Ming asked. "Kid, what is your purpose in coming to the Xiao family? Could it be that you want to deceive Hui and Ale because they are innocent? Let me tell you, if you have this idea, you are wrong." Desolate Ning said coldly. "Brother Xiao, you've misunderstood me. I'm friends with Hui and Ale, and I'm injured, so I want to use the Xiao family to heal. I happen to know some detoxification methods. I heard that the old master of the Xiao family was poisoned by the colorful snake, so I want to see if I can help detoxify him." Lu Ming cupped his fists and explained with a smile. "Shut up. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worthy of being my brother? Don't think that I don't know that you want to get close to those two girls because they are beautiful and pure. No way. You'd better leave the Xiao family quickly, or else." Desolate Ning sneered. "Xiao Ning, what are you doing?" Following that, two beautiful figures appeared. They were Hui and Ale. "Xiao Ning, big brother Lu is our friend. If you let him go again, I'll get angry." Hui gritted her teeth and said as the two sisters walked over. "Umph." Seeing the sisters coming over, Xiao Ning knew that he had missed the opportunity. He snorted coldly, waved his sleeves and strode away. "I heard that Xiao Ning was coming here. I knew that something bad was going to happen. Fortunately, we arrived in time." "Big brother Lu, are you all right?" Hui asked with concern. "I'm fine." Lu Ming smiled. "Well, I'll have someone keep an eye on Xiao Ning for the next few days. If he comes again, I'll definitely get angry with him. Have a good rest." After that, the two sisters said goodbye to Lu Ming. Lu Ming went back to his room and continued to cultivate and heal his injuries. After that, no one disturbed Lu Ming. 3 days later, Lu Ming's injuries were completely healed. As for Dandan, he was thrown into the mountain river diagram and let him recover on his own. Dandan's vitality was extremely tenacious, so nothing bad would happen to him. After Lu Ming recovered, he found Hui and Ale and went to their grandfather's room. Old Master Xiao lived in the Xiao family's main residence. When the three of them arrived at the main residence, they were stopped. One of them was Xiao Ning, and the other was a middle-aged man in his 50s with a cold expression. "Second uncle." Hui's expression changed slightly. That man was Hui's second uncle, Xiao Hongyan. Old Master Xiao had 2 sons. One was Hui and Ale's father, and the other was Xiao Hongyan. "Hui, Ale, that's where father is recuperating. Why did you bring a stranger here?" Xiao Hongyan said with a straight face. Ale trembled slightly and took a step back. Apparently, she was a little afraid of Xiao Hongyan. Hui was much bolder. She took a step forward and said, "Second uncle, this is our friend Lu Xiaoqing. Big brother Lu can cure Grandpa's poison, so we brought him here to help Grandpa cure the poison." "Nonsense." Xiao Hongyan waved his sleeves and snapped. "How many alchemists and herbalists have we hired? We've tried all kinds of methods, but none of them could cure your grandfather's poison. How could this kid cure your grandfather? You two little girls don't know how dangerous the world is. Be careful not to be deceived." "Second uncle, you think too much. Brother Lu won't deceive us. Why don't we let him try? We won't lose anything." Hui argued strongly. Xiao Hongyan's face darkened slightly. He looked at Lu Ming and said, "Kid, are you an inscriber?" "No," Lu Ming said indifferently. He had thought that since he had just arrived, he should be polite to them. Moreover, he did not argue with the Xiao family for the sake of Hui and Ale. However, Xiao Hongyan and his son had repeatedly made things difficult for him and spoke unkindly. Lu Ming could not help but feel a little angry, and his tone was not pleasant. Haha, since you're not an inscriber, how dare you say that you can cure my father? What a joke. Hurry up and leave the Xiao family. I won't pursue this matter. Xiao Hongyan laughed contemptuously and waved his hand. Who said that only an inscriber can cure a poison? I have a secret technique that can easily cure the poison, Lu Ming said. Nonsense. Shameless boasting. Xiao Ning interrupted sarcastically. We believe in Brother Lu. Moreover, second uncle also said that so many alchemists have been invited during this period, but none of them could cure Grandpa's poison. Are we just going to leave him alone and let him die? At this moment, we have to seize any chance. I must let Brother Lu try. If you're worried, you can watch from the side, Ahui said with a firm gaze. Alei also stepped forward and stared at Xiao Hongyan boldly. Xiao Hongyan frowned and pondered for a moment before saying, Okay, let him try. We'll watch from the side. However, just now, an alchemist came and fed Father an antidote pill. We'll observe the situation for today. If Father doesn't get better by tomorrow, let this kid try. Okay, tomorrow it is. Ahui was overjoyed. Also, don't run around these few days. After a few days, pack your things and follow me to the floating mountain to see young Master Ling Yingkong. Xiao Hongyan's tone changed. Hearing this, Ahui and Ahui's expressions changed drastically. No, I won't go to the floating mountain to see Ling Yingkong even if I die, Ahui shouted. Nonsense. Who is young Master Ling Yingkong? He's a peerless genius of the floating mountain. He's one of the top 10 young geniuses of the floating mountain. His talent is peerless and rare. It's your fortune that he took a fancy to you. Don't you know how to cherish it? Let me tell you, this is related to the future of the Xiao family. You can't throw a tantrum. You have to go even if you don't want to. After 7 days, follow me. After saying this, Xiao Hongyan waved his sleeves and strode away. Chapter 996. Ahui and Alei's eyes were red, and tears were rolling in their eyes. Ahui, Alei, what's going on? Lu Ming asked. It's all because of Xiao Ning. He wants to give us to Ling Yingkong for his own future. Ahui wiped her tears and explained to Lu Ming. Xiao Ning was also a disciple of the Floating Mountain sect. However, the Floating Mountain sect was a colossus with many geniuses. Xiao Ning's talent was average, and he was just an ordinary disciple in the Floating Mountain sect. He was not valued at all. However, he was good at flattering people. He used some unknown method to get acquainted with Ling Yingkong, one of the top 10 geniuses of the Floating Mountain sect. He ran errands for Ling Yingkong. Once, Xiao Ning brought Ling Yingkong to the Xiao clan as a guest. The Xiao clan was naturally shocked and held a big banquet to welcome Ling Yingkong. At the banquet, Ling Yingkong took a fancy to Ahui and Alei. Xiao Ning naturally introduced them to such a good thing. Ling Yingkong was a peerless genius of the Floating Mountain sect. Even in the Battle of Providence in the Central Continent, he had achieved good results. Which girl didn't like geniuses and worshipped peerless geniuses? Ahui and Alei were naturally the same. They naturally agreed to get acquainted with Ling Yingkong. However, later they found out that Ling Yingkong wanted to marry both of them. Yes, both of them. This made Ahui and Alei greatly disappointed in Ling Yingkong. Later, they learned that Ling Yingkong was licentious and lecherous. He had already married 7 or 8 concubines. In this way, the two sisters naturally disagreed. However, Xiao Ning finally managed to climb up the big tree that was Ling Yingkong. How could he miss such a rare opportunity? As long as Ling Yingkong married the two sisters, he would definitely be heavily rewarded. Then, Xiao Ning would be able to rise up in the Floating Mountain sect. Therefore, Xiao Ning and Xiao Hongyan had been trying to find a way to marry the two sisters to Ling Yingkong. However, Xiao Zhan, the old master of the Xiao clan, strongly opposed this matter. This matter had been delayed. Now that Xiao Zhan was poisoned and unconscious, how could Xiao Ning and Xiao Hongyan miss this opportunity? Naturally, they began to urge the two sisters to marry Ling Yingkong. Lu Ming nodded, suddenly understanding. No wonder the relationship between the two sisters and Desolate Ning was so bad. So this was the reason why. The three of them chatted for a while before returning to their rooms. Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning walked around several courtyards, chatting with each other. Father, why did you agree to let that brat detoxify Grandpa? If that brat really detoxifies Grandpa's poison, with his bad temper, he will definitely oppose us giving a hui and a lei to Ling Yinkong. Xiao Ning said anxiously. Why are you in such a hurry? The 7-colored poisonous snake is extremely rare, and its venom is very special. Now the venom has spread throughout the old man's body and seeped into the depths of his muscles, bones, and blood. We've invited so many alchemists and pharmacists, but they were all helpless. How can that brat cure the poison? In my opinion, that brat has taken a fancy to a hui and wants to show off in front of them. When he fails to cure the poison tomorrow, we'll find a reason to kick him out of the Xiao clan. Xiao Hongyun said. Father is right. Desolate Ning smiled happily. A day passed quickly. On the second day, Old Master Zhao's poison showed no signs of subsiding. On the afternoon of the second day, Lu Ming, a hui and a lei, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning walked towards Old Master Zhao's room. Opening the door, Lu Ming saw an old man lying on the bed. The old man looked to be in his 60s. He was tall and sturdy, but his breath was weak. His body was covered with colorful lights. The 7 colors covered his entire body. It was very strange. This was the 7-colored poisonous snake's poison. Grandpa, a hui and a lei saw Xiao Zhan's appearance and their hearts ached. Their eyes reddened and tears flowed down uncontrollably. The 7-colored poisonous snake's poison has spread to every part of his body, even to the depths of his muscles, bones, and blood. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. The old man was deeply poisoned. If not for his profound cultivation, he would have died long ago. Even so, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Lu Ming predicted that the old man would die in a month at most. Brother Lu, are you sure you can save my grandpa? A hui said with a sobbing tone. I'll try my best, Lu Ming said and walked over to Xiao Zhan. Lu Ming waved his hand. True essence spread out and lifted Xiao Zhan's body. Xiao Zhan sat up on the bed. Lu Ming sat cross-legged behind Xiao Zhan. His palm pressed against Xiao Zhan's back, and his devouring power erupted. The devouring power wrapped around Xiao Zhan's body, seeping into every inch of his skin, bones, and flesh. A hui and a lei, as well as Xiao Hongyun and his son, for pairs of eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. However, the 4 of them were worried about different things. A hui and a lei were worried that Lu Ming wouldn't be able to cure Xiao Zhan's poison. Xiao Hongyun and his son were worried that Lu Ming would be able to cure Xiao Zhan's poison. The poison is retreating. Suddenly, a hui's eyes lit up, and her voice trembled. First, they saw the multicolored spots on Xiao Zhan's face slowly fade, as if something was sucking them out of his body. How is this possible? Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning's faces changed drastically, revealing a look of disbelief. Could Lu Ming really be able to cure Xiao Zhan's poison? Their eyes flashed with various kinds of light, and they looked a little cold. As for A Hui and A Lei, they were overjoyed. They held their hands tightly, looking hopefully at Lu Ming and Xiao Zhan. As time passed, the multicolored spots on Xiao Zhan's face faded, and his aura grew stronger. Half an hour later, the multicolored spots on Xiao Zhan's face had completely disappeared. The multicolored spots on his body had also disappeared. Xiao Zhan's breathing calmed down, and one could even hear his heartbeat. Huff! Lu Ming let out a long breath and stopped devouring. Xiao Zhan's poison was unexpectedly difficult to cure. It had seeped into every inch of his body. Even with the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline, it still took half an hour. Fortunately, Xiao Zhan's poison was completely devoured by the 9 dragons' bloodline and refined into nothingness. Big brother Lu, my grandfather's poison? A hui asked with some concern. Your grandfather's poison has been completely removed, and he will wake up soon. However, Senior Xiao has been poisoned for so many days, and his body is very weak. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to recover to his peak in a short time. He will need some time to recuperate. Lu Ming smiled. The poison is gone? That's great, that's great. The poison is gone. Thank you, big brother Lu. A hui was beaming with joy, and she was extremely excited. A lei was the same, and her eyes were full of joy. However, Xiao Hongyun and his son were the complete opposite. There was no trace of a smile, and their eyes were gloomy. Lu Ming got up and got off the bed. Suddenly, Xiao Zhan's body trembled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then he slowly opened his eyes. Grandfather is awake. Grandfather is awake. Grandfather. Chapter 997. Xiao Zhan glanced at the two sisters and smiled. Ahui Ale, is my poison cured? Who helped me? He knew very well that the seven-colored viper's poison was difficult to cure. He thought that he would never wake up, so he was rather surprised. It's Brother Lu. Brother Lu helped you. Ahui looked at Lu Ming and said. Xiao Zhan also looked at Lu Ming. When he saw how young Lu Ming was, he was slightly stunned. Is he a powerful alchemist at such a young age? Junior Lu Xiaoqing greets Senior Xiao. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, Young hero, you don't have to be so polite. You saved my life, so I should salute you. Xiao Zhan struggled and wanted to salute Lu Ming, but he was too weak to even lift his hand. Senior, you don't have to be so polite. I'm friends with Ahui and Ale. It's my duty to save them. Senior, you're weak now. You should rest well. Lu Ming said hurriedly. At that moment, Xiao Hongyun's expression changed. Then he suddenly smiled in surprise and stepped forward. Father, you're awake. That's great. I've been worried about you day and night. I couldn't sleep at night. Xiao Zhan glanced at Xiao Hongyun and nodded. Xiao Hongyun's eyes flashed with gloominess, but he still had a smile on his face. Father, you've just cured the poison in your body and you're weak. Rest well. We won't disturb you any longer. I'll order someone to send you some pills to nourish your energy. Then he looked at Ahui and Ale and said, Ahui, Ale, let's go out. Don't disturb Grandpa's rest. Grandpa, rest well. We'll take our leave first. Ahui said reluctantly. Go ahead, young hero Lu. I'll thank you in person after I've recovered a little, Xiao Zhan said. Senior, you're too polite. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Then, everyone left the room. Lu Xiaoqing, right? I have something to tell you. As soon as they left the room, Xiao Hongyun's face turned cold. Oh. Lu Ming nodded. Everyone left the main residence and went to a courtyard outside. Lu Xiaoqing, since my father's poison has been cured and your injuries have healed, there's no need for you to continue staying in the Xiao family. Please leave. Xiao Hongyun's first sentence was a direct order for them to leave. Ahui and Ale's eyes widened in disbelief. Second uncle, what do you mean by this? Big brother Lu just helped Grandpa detoxify the poison, and you want to chase him away. He is now our Xiao clan's benefactor. Is this how you treat the Xiao clan's benefactor? Ahui said in disbelief. What do you know at such a young age? Do you really think that he is sincere in helping father cure the poison? He must have a motive for doing so. Xiao Hongyun scolded, then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Xiaoqing, your motive is these two girls, right? They are indeed outstanding beauties. You deliberately approached them and detoxified my father. Your motive is nothing more than to gain their favor and kill two birds with one stone. These two girls are inexperienced. You may be able to hide it from them, but how can you hide it from me? Let me tell you, these two girls are already Ling Yunkong's people. You'd better give up. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. So leave the Xiao family now. Xiao Hongyun looked coldly at Lu Ming, and his tone gradually became heavier. Lu Ming laughed. This was too ridiculous. He came to the Xiao family because Ahui and Ahui invited him. He was looking for a place to heal and detoxify Xiao Zhan. He had originally planned to leave after detoxifying Xiao Zhan. But in Xiao Hongyun's eyes, he had become a person with ulterior motives. His motive was to get the Xiao sisters. How ridiculous was that? He was now the Xiao family's benefactor. Not only did Xiao Hongyun not thank him, but he even asked him to leave immediately. Okay, I'll leave right away. Lu Ming sneered. Since they didn't welcome him, why should he stay here? Brother Lu, don't listen to second uncle's nonsense. You saved Grandpa. Grandpa said that he wants to thank you. Ahui said anxiously. Ale's eyes were also filled with anxiety. What nonsense? You two ignorant girls. You are now Ling Yunkong's people, but you are so close to this kid. What will Ling Yunkong think if he knows? Do you want to put the Xiao family in danger? Do you want the Xiao family to be destroyed? Xiao Hongyun scolded loudly. You're talking nonsense. When did we become Ling Yunкong's people? It's all your wishful thinking. Hui retorted loudly. Xiao Hongyun's face became even gloomier. He looked at Lu Ming and said, Why aren't you leaving? Do you want to stay here? Kid, you cured my grandpa's poison. This mid-grade profound crystal is your reward. Take it and get out of here. Xiao Ning waved his hand, and a mid-grade profound crystal flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He smashed the crystal into pieces and coldly glanced at Xiao Ning and Xiao Hongyun. Finally, he looked at Hui and Lei and said, Hui, Lei, thank you for your hospitality these past few days. Goodbye. After saying that, he turned into a beam of light and soared into the sky, leaving the Xiao clan. Brother Lu. Hui cried out, and then she glared hatefully at Xiao Hongyun and his son. Is this how the Xiao clan treats our benefactor? We'll probably become a laughingstock if news of this spreads. Besides, even if we die, we won't go to the floating mountain to see Ling Yunкong. Just give up. Lei, let's go. Hui pulled Lei and ran out of the Xiao family. Lu Ming flew all the way, covering hundreds of miles in the blink of an eye. He arrived at a street in the north of Lishui City. Thereafter, he chose a restaurant and ordered some side dishes to eat and drink. With his current state of mind, he naturally wouldn't be in a bad mood because of Xiao Hongyun and the others. The Xiao family had nothing to do with him. It was just a relay station that he passed by. The only thing he was worried about was Hui and Lei. The two girls were very innocent. He was afraid that they would become tools for Xiao Hongyun and his son. What's wrong? Kid, you can't let go of those two girls? Out of nowhere, Dandan appeared on the table. She held a drumstick and started munching. After a few days, Dandan's injuries had basically healed. Yes, I am indeed worried. I plan to cultivate near Lishui City. If you have time, help me keep an eye on it. Lu Ming nodded. Sure, but you can't leave me out of the spiritual herbs. Dandan's mouth was full of oil. After a while, the chicken leg was finished by Dandan. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Lu Ming found a nearby inn to stay in. In a room of the Xiao family, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning were discussing something. Damn it, I didn't expect that kid Lu Xiaoqing to be able to cure the old man's poison. Xiao Hongyun said with a gloomy face. Father, what should we do now? When the old man wakes up, he will definitely object to us giving those two girls to Ling Yunкong. Chapter 998. Now we can only strike first to gain the upper hand. You go to Ling Yunкong now and ask him to send someone to take Hui and Lei directly to the floating mountain. When the rice is cooked, let's see how the old guy will object. Xiao Hongyun's eyes flashed with a scheming light. Okay, father, I'll do it now. Xiao Ning nodded and left the room in a hurry. Lishui City was surrounded by lakes. Endless rivers, and lakes converged with the land. This territory was filled with water vapor. The next day, Lu Ming left Lishui City and headed north. After tens of thousands of miles, countless lakes came into view. This area was called the 10,000 Lakes Plain. It was said that there were more than 10,000 lakes here. There were countless lakes of different sizes. The big ones were 10,000 miles wide, while the small ones were only a few miles wide. They were spread throughout this vast area. Lu Ming came here to comprehend the concept of water. At a glance, he could see many figures walking on the lakes. Whoosh! Whoosh! Sword chi and water screens flashed from time to time. Human martial artists were killing the water demons in the lakes. There were countless lakes in the 10,000 Lakes Plain. Naturally, there were many water demons. A huge catfish, more than 30 meters long, drilled out of the lake. It opened its mouth and bit at Lu Ming, wanting to swallow Lu Ming in one gulp. True essence erupted. Lu Ming stepped out and stomped the catfish to death. Then his devouring power erupted and devoured the essence blood of the catfish. As for the other demonic powers and blood, Lu Ming didn't devour them. That scene was too shocking. He was afraid that it would spread. Moreover, Lu Ming's cultivation couldn't increase because of his concept. Devouring those energies wouldn't be of much use. Of course, there was another way to improve Lu Ming's concept of water quickly. That was to kill other martial artists and devour their concepts. There were many people in the vicinity of Lishui City who had comprehended the concept of water. He could find any one of them. However, Lu Ming would not do that. If it was an enemy, Lu Ming naturally wouldn't show any mercy. But to make him kill others just to improve his own cultivation, Lu Ming absolutely couldn't do such a thing. Stepping on the surface of the lake, Lu Ming felt the water vapor in the surroundings. He immersed himself in it, continuously comprehending the state of water. Next, Lu Ming comprehended the concept of water in this boundless body of water. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. How terrifying was Lu Ming's comprehension ability now. Every day he made great progress. 7 days later, Lu Ming sat cross-legged on a huge lake. The water in this lake was very strange. It moved without wind, as if it had a mind of its own. The water vapor in this lake was the densest, and the comprehension of the concept of water was exceptionally clear. Therefore, many people were attracted to this place to cultivate. Lu Ming also sat cross-legged on the lake, quietly comprehending and comprehending. Peak of 3rd grade entry. Lu Ming's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. His concept of water had already reached the peak of 3rd grade entry. Look, that's the disciples of the Floating Mountain sect. At this moment, someone suddenly exclaimed, attracting the attention of many people. They looked up at the sky. Lu Ming also looked up and saw a few figures walking on air, heading towards Lishui City. There were a total of 8 people. They weren't old, most of them in their 30s. Xiaoning. Lu Ming frowned as he saw Xiaoning's figure in the crowd. These are the disciples of the Floating Mountain sect, and they are together with Xiaoning. Could they be Ling Yunkong's men? Lu Ming frowned as he thought of Ahui and Ale. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming got up and walked on the lake, following behind from a distance. Soon they arrived at Lishui City. Xiaoning and the others walked on air and entered. When Lu Ming arrived at the Xiao family, he saw that the entrance of the Xiao family was already crowded with people. Why are the people of the Floating Mountain sect here? The leader is called Ling Kai. I've seen him before. He is Ling Yunkong's subordinate. What? Ling Yunkong? One of the top 10 prodigies of the Floating Mountain sect, Ling Yunkong? Exclamations came from all around. That's right. I heard that Ling Yunkong took a fancy to the Xiao sisters and wanted to take them as his concubines. However, the Xiao sisters never agreed. This time he's probably here to take them away. Take them away? So overbearing? Nonsense, who is Ling Yunkong? So what if he's overbearing? Who dares to resist? That's true. I heard that Ling Yunkong is a playboy. The Xiao sisters are indeed beautiful. If they were taken away by Ling Yunkong, they would be like lambs in a tiger's den. Lu Ming had just arrived when he heard the discussions around him. Circulating his true essence, the people in front of Lu Ming were silently pushed aside by Lu Ming. Lu Ming walked forward. I'm not going. I won't go even if you beat me to death. Lu Ming had just walked to the front when he heard a tender voice. He knew it was Hui's voice. Lu Ming looked forward and saw a group of youths standing in front of the Xiao residence. Opposite them stood Xiao Hongyan, Hui, and Ale. At this moment, the Xiao sisters were glaring at the youth from the Floating Mountain sect, Xiao Hongyan, and Xiaoning angrily. You're not going? Bastards, it's your fortune that young Master Ling Yunkong took a fancy to you. Do you know how many girls are jealous of you? You dare not go? As long as you serve young Master Ling well, what can you not get in the future? All kinds of cultivation resources will be available. Xiao Hongyan scolded with a sullen face. Many people in the crowd secretly shook their heads. Xiao Hongyan might not be right. If they really fell in love with the Floating Mountain sect's prodigy and became husband and wife, it would naturally be as Xiao Hongyan said. However, Ling Yunkong was a playboy who liked the new and hated the old. Being with him might not end well. If you say you're not going, then go by yourself. Ale, let's go and find Grandpa. Hui pulled Ale, wanting to run into the Xiao residence. Bastards, you're putting the Xiao family in danger by doing this. How can we allow you to run amok? Stop right there. Xiao Hongyan took a step forward, blocking the two sisters. A powerful aura rose from his body, and with a wave of his hand, his true yuan formed a true yuan cage, trapping the two sisters. Today, you have to go even if you don't want to. Young Master Kai, I'll leave these two girls to you. Xiao Hongyun looked at Ling Kai flatteringly. And these two girls haven't seen the world. After young Master Yunkong's teachings, they'll be obedient. Ling Kai chuckled and asked for more than 1,000. What are you doing? At this moment, a loud roar came from the Xiao residence. Then, a group of people followed an old man out. That old man was Xiaozhan. After 7 days, Xiaozhan had not fully recovered, but his aura was many times stronger than 7 days ago. It was obvious that he had recovered part of his cultivation. At this moment, Xiaozhan was like a mad lion, glaring at Xiao Hongyun. Grandpa! Ahui and Ale shouted. Ahui, Ale, don't be afraid. Grandpa is here. Chapter 999. Xiao Hongyun frowned and said, Father, look at what you're saying. I'm just thinking for Xiao family. For Xiao family? I think you're doing this for yourself and your son. Xiaozhan roared. Father, Ning is also your grandson. Xiao Hongyun frowned. Grandson? I don't have a grandson who grovels all day and uses his family to exchange for his future. If he doesn't have the backbone of a martial artist, how can he have any achievements? Xiaozhan shouted. These words made Xiao Ning's face turn ugly as his eyes flickered with an ominous glint. Old man, I advise you to be sensible. This time, young Master Yunkong has already said that we must bring these two girls back. If you try to stop us, you're not giving young Master Yunkong any face. You're not giving our hanging mountain any face. At this moment, Ling Kai spoke with a cold gaze. Young hero, this old man doesn't have any intention of not giving face to the hanging mountain sect, nor do I dare to do so. But when it comes to love, both parties need to be in love with each other. Since my two granddaughters have no interest in young Master Yunkong, why must you force them? Xiaozhan said. Feelings need to be nurtured. I'll bring them back and spend some time with young Master Cloud Realm. Won't feelings develop then? Ling Kai sneered. Can young Master Cloud Realm officially marry the two girls and make them his wives? Xiaozhan asked. Ling Kai frowned and said coldly. Enough, old man. Who do these two girls think they are? It's already a great fortune to be able to scout young Master Cloud Realm. You still want to officially marry him and make them his wives? Are you dreaming? All right, old man, move aside. After saying this, Ling Kai's gaze was like lightning and his aura was oppressive. 2nd level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Lu Ming could tell that Ling Kai's cultivation had already reached the 2nd level of Spirit Embryo Realm. To be able to reach such a cultivation at Ling Kai's age, he was obviously a genius. No, as disciples of Floating Sky Mountain. Are you going to snatch them by force? Xiaozhan walked to Ahui and Ale's side and blocked their path. Grandfather. Fear appeared in Ahui and Ale's eyes as they grabbed onto Xiaozhan's arm tightly. Ahui, Ale, don't be afraid. Grandfather is here. Xiaozhan comforted as a powerful aura rose from his body. Even though Xiaozhan hadn't fully recovered, the strength of his aura wasn't any weaker than someone at the 3rd level of Spirit Embryo Realm, as he fought against Ling Kai. The other Xiao clan disciples who came out with Xiaozhan also stood beside Xiaozhan and stared at the Floating Mountain disciples. Old man, it seems like you're refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Your ant-like Xiao family dares to go against young Master Yunkong? You're courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Kai's eyes. He took a step forward, and his aura became even stronger. Although his cultivation was weaker than Xiaozhan's, his aura was extremely strong, and he was actually able to suppress Xiaozhan. This was the strength of a genius. Xiaozhan stared at Ling Kai with a dignified expression. His entire body was tense, as if he would be attacked by Ling Kai at any moment. I'll count to 3. If you don't hand him over, I'll kill one of your Xiao clan members in one breath. 3. Ling Kai said coldly. Xiaozhan, the Xiao sisters, and the other members of the Xiao clan all had ugly expressions on their faces. Ling Kai was too overbearing. 2. Ling Kai said. The surrounding people were silent. This was Ling Yunkong's matter. Ling Yunkong was one of the 10 great geniuses of Floating Mountain, so who would dare to interfere? Xiaozhan and the rest had ugly expressions. Xiaozhan clenched his fists tightly, but he didn't make a sound. 1. Ling Kai spat out the word 1. and his killing intent intensified. Seems like you're not going to hand them over. You're courting death. Kill. Ling Kai waved his hand, and a youth beside him took a step forward. His figure shot out like lightning, and a sword light pierced through the air, stabbing towards a Shao clan disciple. It was so fast that the Shao clan disciple didn't even have time to react. In the next moment, everyone saw a head flying high into the air, and fresh blood spurted out. A Shao clan disciple was killed without any resistance. The youth from Floating Mountain was at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm. No, Xiao Zhan roared like a mad lion, his eyes blazing with fury. However, he was suppressed by Ling Kai's powerful aura, and couldn't help at all. If he helped, Hui and her sister would be taken away by Ling Kai. Seems like you're not going to hand them over? Kill. Ling Kai's voice continued to ring out. Sword light flashed, and a blood-curdling scream rang out. Another Shao clan disciple was killed. Xiao Zhan's eyes were about to spit fire. Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning stood at the side, their eyes cold and indifferent. No, don't kill. We'll go with you. Hui and her sister cried out with tears in their eyes. No, Grandpa can't send you into the tiger's den, or else, how can I face your parents? Xiao Zhan roared, his eyes red. Old man, I think you're really looking for death. Kill, continue to kill, until you kill everyone from Shao clan. I don't believe that he won't hand them over. Today, I'll kill until he hands them over. Ling Kai shouted, his voice filled with killing intent. Xiao. Sword light flashed out again, but this time, there was no blood-curdling scream, because the hand that was holding the sword was grabbed by someone. A youth in black robes suddenly appeared in front of the youth from Floating Mountain, and grabbed his wrist. Enough, the youth in black robes said coldly. Brother Lu. Hui called out softly. This youth in black robes was Lu Ming. Little brother Lu, leave quickly, this has nothing to do with you. When Xiao Zhan saw that it was Lu Ming, he didn't show any joy. Instead, he urged Lu Ming to leave quickly. Lu Ming looked like he was in his 20s, while the opponent was a colossus like Floating Mountain. Ling Yinkong was one of the top 10 heavens prides of Floating Mountain. Lu Ming couldn't resist at all. Lu Ming was his benefactor, so he didn't want to drag Lu Ming into this. Sure enough, Ling Kai's eyes darkened. The youth whose wrist was grabbed by Lu Ming was filled with killing intent as he berated. Brat, how dare you sneak attack me, you're courting death. True Yuan burst out, and a black light flashed. The youth planned to shake off Lu Ming and kill Lu Ming with a sword. Kacha kacha. Lu Ming's wrist shook, and the youth's arm twisted like dough, giving off cracking sounds of bones breaking. He gave a miserable shriek and flew far away, landing heavily on the ground, howling in grief like a dying wild dog. The surroundings suddenly became quiet, and many people were shocked. The youth from Floating Mountain wasn't weak, with a cultivation at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Even though he couldn't be considered a heaven's pride, he was still considered outstanding among those at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Yet he couldn't even block one move from Lu Ming. Who was Lu Ming? How could he be so strong? Hui and Ale opened their mouths slightly stunned. They originally thought that Lu Ming's strength was about the same as theirs, at most a little stronger. Never did they expect that an expert at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm would be easily defeated by Lu Ming. A hint of astonishment flashed through Xiao Zhan's eyes, but his gaze was still grave. A martial artist at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm wasn't much, but Ling Kai was at the peak of the second level of Spirit Embryo Realm, and was a heaven's pride. He wasn't someone that the youth just now could compare to. Brat, to dare to sneak attack and injure a disciple of my Floating Mountain. I think you must have eaten a true dragon's gallbladder. I'll give you a chance now, kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistake, then cripple your own cultivation, and I'll spare your life. Chapter 1000. Lu Ming smiled faintly and said, Floating Sky Mountain is an overlord power. To think that their disciples would be so unbearable to actually snatch a girl. How disappointing. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. Ling Kai's face turned sinister as he shouted. Brat, you dare to look down on my Floating Sky Mountain. Now you have no chance to live. You will definitely die. What do you mean look down on you? This is the truth. If Floating Sky Mountain is like you or trash like Ling Yinkong, I think it won't be long before it perishes. Lu Ming smiled faintly and said loudly. The hearts of the surrounding people twitched as they took in a cold breath. This Lu Ming was too daring. He actually dared to talk about Ling Yunкong and Floating Sky Mountain like this. Even though they thought the same in their hearts, they didn't dare to say a word. Boasting shamelessly. Who do you think you are to talk about young Master Yunкong and Floating Sky Mountain? Kill him for me. Ling Kai said coldly and waved his hand. Behind him, 5 youths rushed out at the same time and 5 long swords covered Lu Ming. These 5 youths were the same as the previous one. They looked to be in their early 30s and couldn't be considered as geniuses. However, their battle power wasn't weak either. They were all experts at the first level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Central Continent was indeed the center of Divine Wasteland Continent. It was a holy land for cultivation, and there were so many experts. There weren't many people in Eastern Wasteland who had reached Spirit Embryo Realm in their 30s, but here, they were continuously meeting. Scram. Lu Ming spat out a word, and a long spear appeared in his hand. With a tremble, 5 spear lights appeared and pierced towards the 5 youths. Puff. 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 Fresh blood splattered everywhere as the 5 youths screamed and retreated in a hurry. A bloody hole appeared on each of their shoulders and fresh blood flowed out. The faces of the 5 youths were pale, and their eyes were filled with fear. If Lu Ming's spear lights had pierced their throats, they would have been dead. Now scram! Lu Ming shouted coldly and stared at Ling Kai with a gaze like lightning. Brat, you are courting death. Not only did Ling Kai not retreat, his killing intent became even more intense. Wang. Above Ling Kai's head, a big fish appeared. This fish was incomparably ferocious, like a battle sword. Its body was slender, and its eyes revealed a fierce light. Ancient swordfish was Ling Kai's bloodline. There were 3 golden chakras shining on it. Ling Kai was an expert who had awakened a level 3 divine bloodline. He was a genius among geniuses. Even though Lu Ming's battle strength was not weak, he was still fearless. With his battle prowess, it was enough to deal with strong practitioners at the 4th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Clang! There was an explosion of sword gleams. Dazzling sword gleams were released from Ling Kai's hands. Countless sword auras were released toward Lu Ming. With a flick of his spear, space buzzed as boundless spear light appeared. Clang! 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 The rapid sound of metal colliding rang out. It was extremely dense, and it rang out several hundred times. Then Ling Kai's figure retreated rapidly. Several holes had appeared on his body, and blood was flowing out. His face was pale and gloomy. It was obvious that Lu Ming had shown mercy. However, not only was Ling Kai not grateful, he was even more resentful. In his heart, Lu Ming did not dare to kill him because he was from the Floating Mountain sect. It was natural that Lu Ming would not kill him. However, Lu Ming had injured him and embarrassed him. He would not be able to answer to Ling Yunкong when he returned. This was a huge sin. Brat, just you wait. Just you wait. Ling Kai roared angrily and led the others away, turning into a few sword lights and disappearing into the sky. Lu Ming did not give chase. If he was alone, he would have just killed these trash. Lu Ming would not have frowned at all. However, he had to take the Xiao clan into consideration, so he showed mercy. Ahui, Alei, and Xiaozhan were stunned. They did not expect Lu Ming's battle prowess to be so high that even Ling Kai was not Lu Ming's opponent, and was easily defeated by Lu Ming. Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning were also dumbfounded. At the same time, their expressions were extremely ugly. Brat, how dare you injure a heaven's pride of the Floating Mountain sect? It doesn't matter if you want to die, but don't drag our Xiao clan into it. At this moment, Xiao Ning strode out with a gloomy face, pointing at Lu Ming and cursing. Lu Ming frowned and a trace of killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Shut up. Little brother Lu was trying to save us. Xiaozhan reprimanded. Grandfather, you're old and muddle-headed. What save us? You're clearly harming us. Letting Ling Kai take Ahui and Alei away was the best choice. That way, our Xiao clan would have a meteoric rise. Now it's all ruined by this brat. Our Xiao clan will be in trouble. Xiao Ning shouted with a sinister expression. Bastard! Xiaozhan glared at Xiao Ning, trembling with anger. Ninger is right. Brat, I knew you had bad intentions. Now that you've offended young Master Ling Yinkong, we're all in trouble. Xiao Hongyun took a step forward and said coldly. Ha ha ha, framing your Xiao clan, and bringing trouble to your Xiao clan? Ridiculous, really ridiculous. Who was the one who killed the Xiao clan's disciples? Me. Lu Ming laughed. Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning were really shameless. Just now, when the Floating Mountain sect's disciples killed the Xiao clan's disciples, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning didn't say a word. Now that Lu Ming helped the Xiao clan beat back Ling Kai and the others, the two jumped out to criticize him. How could there be such a ridiculous thing in the world? So what if a few Xiao clan's trash died? Who told them to be disobedient? Xiao Ning sneered. Slap. Lu Ming slapped Xiao Ning's face with a backhand. Xiao Ning spun a few rounds in the air and fell heavily on the ground. One side of his face was swollen like a pig's head. He looked at Lu Ming with a dumbfounded expression. Lu Ming actually dared to hit him? In my eyes, you're also trash. Why don't you go and die? Lu Ming looked down at Xiao Ning and said coldly, How dare you? I'll take you down right now and cripple your cultivation. I'll personally send you to apologize to young Master Ling Yinkong. Xiao Hongyun shouted as the aura on his body exploded. He took a step forward and rushed towards Lu Ming, sending a palm towards Lu Ming. 5th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Xiao Hongyun's cultivation had reached the 5th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. With his cultivation he could have stopped Ling Kai, but he didn't move at all. Now he wanted to take down Lu Ming. Stop! Xiao Zhan shouted in anger. He didn't expect Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning to be so shameless. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. However, his cultivation hadn't fully recovered, so it was too late for him to stop Xiao Hongyun. Facing Xiao Hongyun's palm, Lu Ming didn't move at all, as if he had no intention of retaliating. Xiao Hongyun's heart jumped as he had a bad premonition. This brat is so young, and I've never heard of his name. I don't believe that he's my opponent. Thinking of this, Xiao Hongyun's palm strength increased as it flew towards Lu Ming. Just as the palm strength was about to hit Lu Ming's feet moved slightly, and Xiao Hongyun's palm was dodged by Lu Ming. At the same time, Lu Ming stretched out his hand and grabbed Xiao Hongyun's face, pressing it against the ground. Boom. The ground shook as Xiao Hongyun's face came into close contact with the ground, creating a huge crater. Smoke and dust filled the air. Chapter 1001. When the dust settled, Xiao Hongyun was lying on the ground like a dead dog. His face was completely deformed and blood was seeping out from his mouth. His body was twitching and it was a tragic sight. The surrounding onlookers were tongue-tied and couldn't say anything for a long time. Xiao Hongyun, who was at the 5th level of Spirit Embryo Realm, couldn't resist Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming's strength became unfathomable in the hearts of the onlookers. What's the use of keeping a person like you in this world? I'll send you on your way. A cold killing intent burst out from Lu Ming's eyes. Xiao Hongyun felt Lu Ming's killing intent and shuddered. He became much more clear-headed and broke out in cold sweat. He crawled toward Xiao Zhan with all his might and shouted, Father, Father, save me, I won't dare to do it again. I was wrong this time, save me. Xiao Zhan's gaze was complicated and he let out a sigh. He cupped his fists towards Lu Ming and said, Little brother Lu, can you spare him this time? Xiao Hongyun was his son after all, and also his last son. Seeing him being killed by Lu Ming, Xiao Zhan couldn't bear it. Lu Ming shook his head in his heart. He already knew this would happen. Xiao Zhan valued friendship too much. Although he was disappointed in Xiao Hongyun, he didn't want to see him die. Since Senior Xiao has spoken, I'll spare him this time. Lu Ming said. In his eyes, it didn't matter if Xiao Hongyun was killed because he didn't care at all. Why would he care about someone who could be killed with a slap? Big brother Lu, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Ahui ran over and looked at Lu Ming with admiration. Alei also stood behind Ahui and blinked her eyes, peeking at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's strength was far beyond their expectations. It seemed like even their grandfather wasn't a match for Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled and looked at Xiao Zhan. Senior Xiao, what do you plan to do next? It was obvious that Ling Yinkong wouldn't let this matter rest. Little brother Lu, let's talk inside. Xiao Zhan said. Lu Ming nodded and walked into the Xiao clan's mansion with Xiao Zhan, Ahui, and Alei. Ling Yinkong shouldn't be here so soon. I plan to dismiss the Xiao family and take Ahui and Ale to the ends of the world. But this time, I'm really sorry to have involved you. As he spoke, Xiao Zhan bowed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a strand of Zhen Yuan spread out, dragging Xiao Zhan along. Senior, there's no need to be so polite. I, Ahui, and Ale can be considered friends. I can't just watch them be taken away by the people of the floating mountain. Moreover, I'm alone, so I'm not afraid of them. Xiao Zhan could feel Lu Ming's vast true essence. He found that he couldn't even bow down a little bit. He was secretly shocked in his heart. In his eyes, Lu Ming was even more unfathomable. This old man is truly unable to repay little brother's kindness. Xiao Zhan cupped his fists. Lu Ming had cured his poison before, and this time, he had saved Ahui and Ahui. He was truly a great benefactor to them. After chatting for a while, Xiao Zhan ordered everyone in the Xiao family to pack their things. They planned to wait until night and take advantage of the darkness to leave in batches. Lishui City and the Xiao family definitely couldn't stay. Half a day passed and night fell. The disciples of the Xiao family fled into the night in batches and disappeared. Lu Ming, Xiao Zhan, Ahui, and Ale sat in the courtyard slowly drinking tea. Master, let this old servant stay and take care of you. An old man with a head full of white hair stood beside Xiao Zhan and pleaded. The old man was very old, but he was still full of spirit. But now his eyes were filled with sadness and reluctance. Grandpa Quan. Ahui and Ale were also reluctant to part. The old man was called Feng Quan. He had been in the Xiao family for hundreds of years. Now he was the housekeeper of the Xiao family. He had watched Ahui and Ale grow up, and had deep feelings for the Xiao family. Quan, it's very dangerous to follow us. You still have a family. Hurry up and leave. If there's a chance, we'll meet again. Xiao Zhan said. He was helpless, but this was the only way now. If they stayed, they would all die when Ling Yinkong brought people here. Only by leaving would they have a chance of survival. Xiao Zhan's attitude was firm. Feng Quan was helpless. Then he said goodbye to Xiao Zhan and the others in tears. Grandpa, it's all our fault. Ahui and Ale were teary-eyed. If it weren't for them, this wouldn't have happened. You two silly girls, don't let your imagination run wild. Xiao Zhan chuckled, then looked at Lu Ming and said, Little brother Lu, it's getting late. You should leave. We'll disguise ourselves and leave the city at dawn. Lu Ming had already helped them a lot. He didn't want to implicate Lu Ming. Before Lu Ming could say anything, footsteps were heard in the courtyard. The next moment, Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning appeared and walked in. What are you still doing here? Hurry up and get lost. Xiao Zhan scolded coldly. Plop. Plop. To everyone's surprise, Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning knelt down in front of Xiao Zhan. Father, I was wrong. I was blinded by greed and thought of using Ahui and Ale to curry favor with Ling Yinkong. That's why this happened. I was wrong. Xiao Hongyan kowtowed to Xiao Zhan and cried bitterly. He then kowtowed to Lu Ming and said, Thanks to young Master Lu for waking me up this time. I suddenly realized that what I did previously was a huge mistake. Thank you, young Master Lu. Xiao Ning kowtowed along with Xiao Hongyan. Lu Ming frowned. Xiao Zhan also frowned. Father, I only hope that you can forgive me. Then I'll bring Ning, to Ling Yinkong and beg for mercy. I'll buy some time for you and Ahui to leave. Xiao Hongyan said with a sincere look. Grandpa Look's second uncle also knows his mistake. Just forgive him. Ahui whispered. Yes, Grandpa. Ale also said. The two sisters were very kind. Seeing that Xiao Hongyan seemed to be sincere, they begged for mercy for Xiao Hongyan. Slap. Slap. Suddenly, Xiao Hongyan slapped himself repeatedly. As he slapped himself, he cried out, Father, I was wrong. I beg for your forgiveness. After a few slaps, both sides of Xiao Hongyan's face swelled up. Well, it's good that you know you're wrong. Everyone makes mistakes. Just remember that you have to grasp your own opportunities and not sacrifice your loved ones. Xiao Zhan was soft-hearted. Seeing this, he sighed. Thank you, Father. Xiao Hongyan smiled and said, Father, I don't know when we'll meet again after this farewell. I've prepared a feast in the hall. It's been a long time since I've had a gathering with Father and my nieces. Let's just say goodbye to father and my nieces. A banquet? There's no need for that. As long as you have the heart, Xiaozhan said. Father, this is a small gift from me. Maybe we'll never meet again. Xiao Hongyun sighed and showed a regretful and sad look. Grandpa, let's go. I think second uncle is sincere. Hui whispered and Ale nodded repeatedly. Well, okay. Chapter 1002. Xiao Hongyun was overjoyed. Thank you, father. Then he looked at Lu Ming and said, Young Master Lu, I apologize for offending you in the past. Why don't you join us? That's good. There's no reason to refuse. Lu Ming smiled. Then the 6 of them came to the main hall. There was indeed a table full of delicious wine and delicacies. Xiao Hongyun poured everyone a cup of wine, then raised his cup and said, Father Hui Ale and young Master Lu, I made a big mistake in the past. I'll punish myself with a cup. Then he raised his cup and drained it in one gulp. Xiaozhan, Hui, and Ale also raised their cups and took a sip. Lu Ming raised his cup with a faint smile on his face. Young Master Lu, please. Seeing that Lu Ming did not drink, a trace of panic flashed in the depths of Xiao Hongyun's eyes. Then, a sincere smile appeared on his face. It's really good wine. You'll know after smelling it. Lu Ming laughed, then raised his cup and drained it in one gulp. Seeing this, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. Young Master Lu is generous. Come, let's eat. Xiao Hongyun smiled. Everyone sat down, and Xiao Ning poured wine for them. Young Master Lu, you're so young, but you have such a cultivation base. I'm really impressed. I've never heard of your name before. May I know which force you're from? Xiao Hongyun said. Hearing this, Xiaozhan, Hui, and Ale were also curious. It had been half a year since the Battle of Providence ended. During the Battle of Providence, all the hidden geniuses who were secretly nurtured by the unparalleled experts had revealed themselves. Now, who didn't know the names of these geniuses? However, they were unfamiliar with Lu Shaoqing. Did he not participate in the Battle of Providence? I don't belong to any force. I used to cultivate in the mountains. This is my first time coming out. Lu Ming smiled. Everyone was stunned. Did Lu Ming really not participate in the Battle of Providence? This was truly rare. Generally speaking, when encountering a battle of karmic luck, there was practically no genius who wouldn't be tempted. Haha, young Master Lu, you have such a cultivation base, even though you haven't participated in the Battle of Providence. This is truly rare. Come, let me offer you a toast. Xiao Hongyun raised his cup and drained it in one gulp. Lu Ming smiled and drained his cup as well. Good wine, really good wine. You guys are really considerate. Lu Ming clicked his tongue, a look of enjoyment on his face. Haha, it seems like young Master Lu is a wine lover. You should drink more if you like. Xiao Hongyun smiled. Xiao Ning immediately poured a cup of wine for Lu Ming. He raised his cup and said, Brother Lu, please forgive my previous offense. Sure. Lu Ming smiled, picked up the wine cup and drained it in one gulp. The joy on Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning's faces deepened. Afterwards, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning repeatedly apologized to Xiaozhan, Hui, and Ale, and proposed a toast to them. Soon, the Xiao sisters' faces were flushed red, and they looked exceptionally beautiful. Grandpa, Hui, why do I feel a little cold? At this moment, Ale whispered. I feel a little cold too. Hui shivered and exhaled. A layer of frost actually formed in the air. Xiaozhan's expression changed drastically. Hui and Ale were both in the complete spiritual sea realm. How could they suddenly feel cold? Even if they were in a world of ice and snow, they would not feel cold. At this moment, Xiaozhan also felt a trace of coldness in his meridians. Bang! Xiaozhan suddenly stood up from his chair and stared at Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning like a mad lion. He roared, Bastards, you poisoned the wine? Before he could finish his words, Xiaozhan felt the world spinning around him. He could not stand and sat back down in his chair. Hui and Ale looked at Xiao Hongyun in disbelief. They had never imagined that Xiao Hongyun would actually poison them. Didn't Xiao Hongyun admit his mistake just now? Could it be that everything was fake? The two sisters found it unbelievable. It's so cold. Ale cried. At this moment, her face was no longer flushed. Instead, a layer of frost had appeared. At the same time, every time she exhaled, a layer of frost would appear in the air. Ha ha! At this time, Xiao Hongyan let out an earth-shattering laugh, laughing hysterically. Old man, you two stinky girls, you still want to leave? If you leave, what will happen to Ning, and I? We can't let our bright futures be ruined in your hands. Xiao Hongyan laughed. At this moment, he completely revealed his true nature. His face was full of ferocity. And you boy, how dare you interfere? I'll kill you. Xiao Hongyan stared at Lu Ming ferociously. Bastard, you bastard! Xiao Zhan roared. He was extremely sad and disappointed. Just now, he really thought that Xiao Hongyan had found his conscience and turned over a new leaf. He did not expect that everything was fake. Xiao Hongyan pretended to be pitiful and remorseful in front of them just to trick them into drinking and eating. He had already poisoned the wine and food. At this moment, a layer of frost appeared on Xiao Zhan's face. A layer of light suffused his body as he tried to force the poison out. However, he had not fully recovered, so it was useless. Old man, there's no need to force the poison out. It's useless. This is Snowheart poison. It's 10 times more poisonous than the rainbow viper. You can't force it out. Xiao Hongyan sneered. Snowheart poison. Xiao Zhan's face was covered in misery. Snowheart poison was extremely famous among all the strange poisons in the world. Without an antidote, even a spirit god would find it difficult to force out the poison once poisoned. Old man, I might as well tell you something else. You were bitten by the rainbow viper in the chaotic mountain range. It was young Master Yinkong who lured the rainbow viper over. Otherwise he. Xiao Hongyan continued to sneer. What? Bastard. Then you were the one who revealed my whereabouts? Xiao Zhan staggered and almost lost his footing. Ha ha ha. That's right. Besides me and Ning, only a Hui and a Lei knew about your whereabouts. Who else could it be? Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning laughed arrogantly. Bastard. Xiao Zhan's face was covered in misery and despair. How can I take control of the Xiao clan if you don't die? Also, how can those two girls marry Ling Yinkong if you don't die? Do you know that you're an obstacle to me? Xiao Hongyan's face was savage. That's right. Old man, I'm your grandson as well. But why do you have to protect those two stinking girls? They're clearly so valuable. Why do you want to waste them? Xiao Ning screamed from the side. Xiao Zhan had given up all hope. Xiao Hongyan and his son were no different from animals. It's not just the two of you, right? The others should be here soon. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly spoke. Hee kid, you're right. A sneer resounded as a dozen figures flashed into the hall. Ling Kai and the other youths from the Hanging Mountain Range were among them. It was Ling Kai who had spoken just now. Besides him, there were 7 or 8 middle-aged or old men. All of them had powerful auras and profound cultivations. Chapter 1003. Old man, how dare you disobey young Master Yinkong? You're courting death. How dare you try to sneak away? Humph. Young Master Yinkong has taken a fancy to these two girls. Do you think you can escape? Ling Kai glanced coldly at Xiao Zhan, Ahui, and Ale. Xiao Zhan, Ahui, and Ale turned pale. They knew that they were doomed this time. And you boy, how dare you injure us? You're courting death. Hee, aren't you in our hands now? Ling Kai looked ferociously at Lu Ming, licked his lips and continued. But don't worry, I won't kill you easily. I'll let you suffer all the torture in the world, and let you die in pain. Sigh. At this time Lu Ming suddenly sighed. Humph, it's too late to sigh now. Ling Kai said coldly. I'm just sighing. My good mood was ruined by a few stray dogs. What a bummer. Lu Ming sighed. Then in front of everyone's shocked eyes he picked up the flagon on the table and said, But this is good wine. Don't waste it. After saying that, Lu Ming opened his mouth and sucked. The wine in the flagon turned into a column of water and flew into Lu Ming's mouth. Lu Ming gulped down every drop. Everyone was dumbfounded. You're not poisoned? How is that possible? Xiao Hongyan shouted in disbelief. He thought he was dreaming. He had clearly seen Lu Ming drink many cups of wine. How could he not be poisoned? Moreover, Lu Ming had drunk all the remaining wine. What was going on? Was Lu Ming not afraid of poison? Ling Kai and the others were also dumbfounded. They had brought the snow heart poison here. They had given the antidote to Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning in advance. Then they had poisoned the wine and dishes. Their main target was Lu Ming. In their eyes, Lu Ming was the most dangerous, while Xiao Zhan and the others were no threat at all. The process went unexpectedly smoothly. Xiao Hongyun and his son successfully brought Xiao Zhan and the others here. And Lu Ming and the others also successfully drank and ate. Moreover, Lu Ming drank the most wine and ate the most dishes. But now, how could Lu Ming be fine? Ling Kai knew better than anyone how powerful the snow heart poison was. Xiao Zhan, Hui, and Lei were a little stunned at first, but then their eyes revealed hope. Lu Ming was actually fine. Earlier, they had already given up all hope. But now hope was born again. I don't mind telling you, the moment I picked up the wine cup, I knew it was poisoned. Lu Ming looked disdainfully at Xiao Hongyun and smiled faintly. You know, why did you still drink it? Xiao Hongyun was still in disbelief. Because this is good wine. How can I let it go to waste? Moreover, I also want to see what kind of tricks you have up your sleeves. Lu Ming smiled faintly and stood up. Light swirled around his body, and a cold aura filled the air. Then he stretched out his hand and pointed it at Xiao Zhan, Hui and Lei. A huge devouring power exploded. Then white threads of light flew out from the three of them. When the white threads of light flew through the air, a layer of sparkling white frost appeared in the air. The white threads flew into Lu Ming's palm, and were devoured by Lu Ming. Xiao Zhan, Hui, and Lei's faces became rosy. The poison in their bodies had been neutralized. Xiao Hongyun, Xiao Ning, Ling Kai, and the others widened their eyes in shock. Absorbing the poison from a person's body and neutralizing it through the air. They had never heard of such a detoxification method. Now it's your turn. Since you're here, don't even think about leaving. Lu Ming's gaze swept across, and a cold murderous intent burst out. Not good retreat. Xiao Hongyun's heart skipped a beat. Without hesitation, he pulled Xiao Ning and retreated rapidly. However, even though they were fast, Lu Ming was faster. Lu Ming moved like a stream of light, and appeared in front of Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning. He pointed 2 fingers at them. The 2 of them could not resist, and were hit by Lu Ming's fingers on their dantian. Puff! Puff! Like a punctured balloon, Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning screamed. Their bodies flew out and fell to the ground. Their auras were weak, and they were like ordinary people. Their cultivation had been destroyed by Lu Ming. My cultivation base, my cultivation base. Xiao Hongyun and Xiao Ning screamed miserably, their voices filled with despair. It's over, it's all over. They had wanted to rely on Ling Yinkong to climb up the ranks. Now, before they could curry favor with Ling Yinkong, their cultivation had been destroyed and they had become cripples. There was no hope left. Go, go, go. Ling Kai's pupils contracted rapidly as he screamed. He was about to retreat. Whoosh. Suddenly, Lu Ming appeared in front of Ling Kai. He grabbed Ling Kai's neck and lifted him into the air. Let go of me. What are you doing? I'm with young Master Yinkong. Ling Kai yelled and tried to threaten Lu Ming. Devour. Lu Ming spat out a word coldly, and the devouring power suddenly erupted. Ling Kai screamed and struggled. However, to everyone's horror, Ling Kai's body shriveled like a ball and turned into a dried corpse. Bloodthirsty skill. This is Cold Blood Hall's bloodthirsty skill. You're from Cold Blood Hall. Go, go. The others from Floating Mountain screamed and tried to escape. Did I say you could leave? Stay here. Lu Ming stretched out his hand and clenched his fist. Boom. A terrifying devouring power erupted, enveloping everyone from the Floating Mountain sect within. They screamed in horror as their bloodline power, essence blood, fresh blood, and genuine vitality flew out of their bodies and were devoured by Lu Ming. It was a horrible feeling. They watched themselves being devoured and the people around them turning into dried corpses. No. After a while, all the people from Floating Mountain turned into dried corpses and were devoured by Lu Ming. Almost all of them cultivated the essence of water. Lu Ming's essence of water began to improve as the 9 dragons' bloodline continued to refine them. Only Xiao Hongyun, Xiao Ning, Xiao Zhan, Ahui and Ale were left. Not a single person from the Hanging Mountain was left alive. A foul stench wafted in the hall. Lu Ming turned around. It was Xiao Ning. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. He was so scared that he had wet his pants. Xiao Hongyun's face was also pale and full of despair. Xiao Zhan and the other two looked at Lu Ming in shock. Little brother Lu, you're a disciple of Cold Blood Hall? Xiao Zhan asked. Cold Blood Hall? I've never heard of it. I'm not a disciple of Cold Blood Hall. Lu Ming shook his head. You're not a disciple of Cold Blood Hall. Xiao Zhan heaved a sigh of relief. He seemed to be very afraid of Cold Blood Hall. Senior Xiao, I'll leave these two to you. Lu Ming pointed at Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning. Xiao Zhan's eyes flashed with killing intent. Father, spare my life. Please spare me this time. I was blinded by lard for a moment. I won't dare to do it again. Xiao Hongyan begged. That's what you said before. You two bastards, leaving you alive will only harm others. I might as well kill you myself. Chapter 1004. Dad, please let us go this time. I'm your son. Xiao Hongyan begged. Grandpa, I beg you, please let me go. This has nothing to do with me. It's all my dad's fault. Yes, it's all his fault. He forced me to do this. Xiao Ning screamed and begged, pushing all the blame onto Xiao Hongyan. Bastard, how dare you slander me? If not for you sucking up to Ling Yinkong, why would I do this? Xiao Hongyan looked at Xiao Ning in disbelief and anger. Grandpa, if you want to kill him, just kill him. I'm innocent. I'm the last man in the Xiao family. I still have to pass on the heirs of the Xiao family. You're the one who gave me this idea. Grandpa, if you want to kill him, just kill him. I'm innocent. I'm the last man in the Xiao family. Xiao Ning shouted. Bastard, I'll kill you. Xiao Hongyan roared and rushed towards Xiao Ning. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Xiao Ning also rushed towards Xiao Hongyan. Their cultivations were crippled, and they fought with their physical strength. Misfortune of the family, misfortune of the family. Xiao Zhan's face was dejected, as if he had aged a few decades. After a while, Xiao Zhan's eyes revealed a look of determination. A sword appeared in his hand, and he said, What's the use of keeping two scum alive? Whoosh! With a flash of sword light, two heads flew high into the air, their faces filled with disbelief. After killing Xiao Hongyan and Xiao Ning, Xiao Zhan staggered as if he had lost all his strength. Grandpa! Ahui and Ale quickly supported Xiao Zhan. Senior Xiao, you can't fall. The Xiao family and Ahui and Ale still need you to take care of them. Lu Ming said. Xiao Zhan took a deep breath to calm himself down, and said, Yes, Ahui and Ale are the hope of the Xiao family. We can't let anything happen to them. Let's leave Lishui City and Floating Mountain now. I'll send you off first. Lu Ming said. Then, the four of them left the Xiao family under the cover of the night. But just as they stepped out of the Xiao family's house, a bright sword light violently slashed towards them. Lu Ming's face changed. Rumble. The sword light slashed towards the Xiao clan, leaving behind a deep sword scar. Half of the Xiao clan was split into two. A group of figures appeared in the air. Each and every one of them had a cold look in their eyes, and a powerful aura emanated from their bodies. People from the Floating Mountain sect. Xiao Zhan's expression changed drastically. It seems that Ling Kai and the others are dead. Fortunately, I was worried and rushed over personally. Otherwise, you would have really escaped. A cold voice came from afar. A young man in a white robe walked over while waving a folding fan. Soaring cloud. Xiao Zhan, Ahui, and Ale cried out in alarm. Their faces turned even uglier and even more desperate. One of the top 10 geniuses of the Hanging Mountain, Ling Yinkong, had actually come in person. Whoosh! 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 Around the Xiao clan, many figures appeared in a flash. They flew into the sky and looked over. The commotion caused by the previous sword strike was so great that everyone within 100 li could hear it. They all rushed over to see what was going on. People from the Floating Mountain sect. Ling Yinkong, it's Ling Yinkong. Ling Yinkong has come personally. The Xiao clan is finished. Someone recognized Ling Yinkong and let out a cry of alarm. Brother Lu, leave quickly. Leave quickly. Xiao Zhan anxiously called out to Lu Ming. Lu Ming's battle strength was not bad, but he was definitely not a match for Ling Yunкong. Ling Yunкong was one of the top 10 geniuses of the Floating Mountain sect. His battle strength was terrifying, and countless seniors were not his match. One of the top 10 geniuses of the Floating Mountain sect? Lu Ming's mouth curved into a smile. Instead, his eyes revealed a trace of battle intent and anticipation. The Floating Mountain sect was one of the top forces in the Central Continent. It was a force on the same level as the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect. Lu Ming was very curious about the level of the geniuses in such a force. Leave. Today none of you will leave. Ling Yunкong's voice was cold. His gaze swept over and landed on Ahui and Ale. Flames of passion flashed in his eyes. He had played with countless beautiful women in his life, but he had never played with such a pair of pure and lovely twins. Just thinking about it made him excited. Old man, kill yourself. And that kid, kill yourself too. That way, I can leave your corpses intact. Ling Yunкong said indifferently. Haha, this is the character of one of the top 10 geniuses of the Floating Mountain sect. Today I finally see it. How disappointing. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. In the air, the faces of the experts of the Floating Mountain sect changed. Ling Yunкong's face also darkened. He stared coldly at Lu Ming and said, Good kid. Very good. Just because of what you said, I won't let you die. I will let you live, but I will make you regret living. Ling Kai said the same thing before, but he is now a dead dog. I hope you have the right to say it. Lu Ming replied indifferently. Go cripple him. Ling Yunкong's eyes flashed with killing intent as he waved his hand. Bang. An elder took a step forward, and a steel fork appeared in his hand. His aura rose and a powerful pressure pressed towards Lu Ming. It was incomparably shocking. 6th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. This elder's cultivation had reached the 6th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Boom. The elder waved the steel fork and smashed it towards Lu Ming. Be careful. Brother Lu, be careful. Xiao Zhan and the Xiao sisters cried out in unison, extremely worried. Lu Ming's palm glowed, and a spear condensed from his vital essence. The spear swept out and struck the steel fork. With a clang, the steel fork trembled violently and was sent flying. Lu Ming rose into the air, and the spear transformed into a ray of light with a faint dragon roar coming out. Upper grade half-god level martial technique, dazzling dragon spear arts. Puchi. The spear broke through all of the elder's defenses and killed him in one strike. What? The people who were watching the battle not far away were all shocked. Lu Ming's abilities were so strong, killing a person of the 6th level of Spirit Embryo Realm with one strike. Such a young prodigy couldn't be a nameless person in the entire Central Continent. Ling Yunкong's eyes flickered slightly. It was obvious that Lu Ming's cultivation had exceeded his expectations. Looks like I have to do it myself today, Ling Yunкong said. He was only slightly surprised, but Lu Ming wasn't enough for him to take seriously. This was because he could kill an ordinary person of the 6th level of Spirit Embryo Realm with a flick of his finger. Bang. Ling Yunкong took a step forward, and the sky trembled violently. Heaven and earth shook. Ling Yunкong is going to do it. Some people exclaimed, but more people's eyes glowed. It had been half a year since the Battle of Providence. During this time, the entire Central Continent was very peaceful, as if all the prodigies were in seclusion. It was completely different from before the Battle of Providence began. Before the Battle of Providence began, the prodigies battled each other, and there were battles every day. However, after the Battle of Providence, it was completely silent. All the prodigies seemed to be digesting the things they had obtained from the Battle of Providence, and were in seclusion to raise their cultivation. In this half a year, it was rare to see some of the top prodigies fight. Was Ling Yunкong going to do it now? Chapter 1005. That was because most people couldn't see the final showdown of the Battle of Providence. Only the top echelons of the overlords could see it. The combat power of these supreme talents was rumored. Only a few people could see it with their own eyes. Now they finally had the chance. Boom. 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 Lu Ming took one step at a time, stepping in the air. With every step he took, Ling Yunкong's aura would become stronger. In the end, his aura was as strong as an immemorial sacred mountain. A huge pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. Xiao Zhan and the Xiao sisters couldn't help but retreat. Their eyes were filled with horror. They felt like ants in front of Ling Yinkong. There was no way they could resist him. Brother Lu. The Xiao sisters looked at Lu Ming with worry. Ling Yinkong was so strong. Could Lu Ming fight him? However, Lu Ming's figure was as steady as a rock. He did not move at all. Even the corners of his clothes did not move. Ling Yinkong's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. A person who could remain unmoved under his aura wasn't simple. You're not bad. You're worthy of my attention. What's your name? Ling Yinkong's words surprised many people. Ling Yinkong actually said that Lu Ming was worth his time. That young man who stood there motionless was actually that powerful? Was he worthy of Ling Yinkong's attention? You're not qualified to know my name, Lu Ming said lightly. Lu Ming's voice wasn't loud, but it spread like a storm. Everyone's eyes widened. Lu Ming said that Ling Yinkong wasn't qualified to know his name? Crazy, too crazy, crazy to the point of no bounds. Who was Ling Yinkong? He was one of the top 10 supreme talents of the Xiankong Mountain. Although he was only ranked 10th, there were more than 10 million disciples in the Xiankong Mountain. There were countless geniuses and experts. To be able to stand out among the countless geniuses and be ranked 10th was enough to show how terrifying he was. But now, Lu Ming said that Ling Yinkong wasn't even qualified to know his name? He's too arrogant. This young man probably came from the mountains and hasn't seen the world. He doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. In my opinion, he's just a frog at the bottom of a well. He thinks that he has some ability and doesn't put the world's heroes in his eyes. Just watch, he'll be miserable later. I think I've heard of his name from the Xiao family. I think he's called Lu Xiaoqing. Lu Xiaoqing? I've never heard of him. Now that the Battle of Providence has just ended, all the powerful geniuses have become famous. Yet I've never heard of this name. Could it be that he didn't participate in the Battle of Providence? You see, I was right. This person must be a country bumpkin who just walked out from some remote mountain. There were discussions around the Shaoling Xiaozhan, Ahui, and Lei were trembling with fear. Lu Ming's words would infuriate Ling Yinkong even more. Ha! Ling Yinkong laughed and said coldly, arrogant, really arrogant. I, Ling Yinkong, have been called arrogant by others, but you're even more arrogant than me. However, you need to have the right to be arrogant. I'll make sure you can't be arrogant later. You're right. You need to have the right to be arrogant. Otherwise, you're courting death. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Obviously, Lu Ming was talking about Ling Yinkong. Then I'll show you what I've got. Boom. As soon as he finished his words, Ling Yin took a heavy step forward. With a wave of his palm, a ray of sparkling and translucent blue saber gleam slashed toward Lu Ming. The terrifying aura seemed to be able to split the entire world apart. Lu Ming smiled faintly. His long spear shook, and a dragon roared. A spear radiance burst out and collided with the sword light. Boom. The energy exploded, and the space shook. The spear radiance and the sword light both dissipated. Ling Yinkong didn't move, and neither did Lu Ming. He blocked it. That Lu Xiaoqing actually blocked Ling Yinkong's attack. Unbelievable. How is that possible? He actually has such strong combat power? Some people exclaimed in disbelief. Peak of the 7th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Lu Ming's gaze moved. He already knew that Ling Yinkong's cultivation had reached the peak of the 7th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Half a year ago, he was already at the same level as Demon Lord Luo Tian in the Battle of Providence. However, Lu Ming felt that Ling Yinkong's combat power shouldn't be as strong as Luo Tian's. His talent should be slightly weaker than Luo Tian's. Not to mention that half a year had passed since the Battle of Providence. Ling Yinkong was only at the peak of the 7th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. From this point alone, he was weaker than Luo Tian. After all, Luo Tian was ranked 10th among all the human prodigies in Eastern Wilderness. Not bad. Since you can take one of my attacks, then take another. 100 Waves Saber Art. Ling Yinkong's aura became stronger, and the sword radiance broke through the air. The sound of stormy waves could be heard. Ling Yinkong's sword radiance was like a wave. Wave after wave, it slashed towards Lu Ming. Whoosh. Lu Ming's long spear shook, and the long spear condensed by his true essence rapidly expanded. It was like a pillar that supported the sky, and there were 5 colored lights lingering on it. Yes, 5 colors, 5 different intents. Just now, Lu Ming had swallowed the intents of water of Ling Kai and the others and had been refining them. Now Lu Ming's intents of water had broken through and reached the lower tier of the 3rd level. Although it wasn't on par with the intents of earth, wind, fire, and thunder, it was still very powerful when the 5 intents exploded together. Boom. The huge long spear was very direct and domineering, crushing everything in its way. Boom. 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 Heaven and earth shook continuously. Ling Yunkong's sword radiance was constantly crushed and shattered. In the end, the long spear didn't stop and continued to smash towards Ling Yunkong. How can this be? Ling Yunkong's pupils contracted rapidly, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. How can Lu Ming be so strong? He broke his 100 waves saber art, and still had the energy to smash towards him? All the spectators around also widened their eyes in disbelief. Lu Ming's spear was too amazing, and its power was unimaginable. It actually started to suppress Ling Yunkong, one of the top 10 prodigies of the floating mountain. Ling Yunkong roared, his long hair fluttering in the wind, and the saber in his hand constantly slashed out. In a short period of time, he had slashed out at least a few thousand times to block Lu Ming's long spear, but the result was that he was pushed back 1,000 meters, his chest heaving up and down. That's all you got? I thought you were more powerful. You're so arrogant with such little strength. It's a miracle that you're still alive. Lu Ming said indifferently. Ling Yunkong's face was red with anger. He was very arrogant just now, and even said that he had to be qualified to be arrogant. The fact proved that he wasn't qualified to be arrogant in front of Lu Ming. His words were like slapping his own face. This made him furious, and he couldn't wait to kill Lu Ming. Die. Ling Yunkong roared, and at the same time, a giant elephant appeared above his head. This giant elephant had 5 golden chakras around it. A level 5 divine realm bloodline was indeed weaker than Luo Tian's. However, it made sense. The floating mountain was only at the same level as the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, or the Heavenly Corpse sect. Ling Yunkong was only ranked 10th in the floating mountain. If the 10th was as strong as Luo Tian, wouldn't it mean that the floating mountain was as strong as the entire eastern wilderness? Chapter 1006. It's Ling Yunkong's bloodline. Is this the level 5 divine bloodline? The legendary divine beast, the water god elephant. It is as famous as the ancient war elephant. It can control all the water in the world. Exclamations came from all around. Ling Yunkong had used the bloodline fusion and turned into the water god elephant. The water god elephant was 1,000 meters tall, and it towered into the clouds, blocking out the sun. It let out a long howl that shook the entire Lishui city. Countless people looked at the gigantic creature in the sky in shock. Boom. The water god elephant stepped out towards Lu Ming. Ahui, Alei and Xiaozhan were terrified. Such power was too shocking. It was as if it could destroy the world. However, Lu Ming's eyes were still as calm as water. The long spear in his hands enlarged again, becoming a few thousand meters long. It was indomitable, stirring up the wind and clouds. Boom. A huge spear radiance blasted towards the water god elephant. The clouds in the sky were shattered and starlight shone down. The water god elephant let out a long howl, and its trunk rolled towards the spear radiance. An earth-shattering explosion was heard and the space shook. However, the final result was shocking. The 5-colored spear radiance destroyed the elephant's trunk, and the body of the spear struck the water god elephant. The water god elephant let out a wail, and its gigantic body was pushed back. It stepped on the void and the void rippled like water. Ling Yunkong is going to lose. Someone exclaimed. Everyone was shocked. Ling Yunkong had even used the bloodline fusion, but he was still no match for Chen Fan. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming's body was as small as an ant, but he wielded the 1,000-meter-long spear and attacked the water god elephant continuously. After a few explosions, the water god elephant let out a cry and exploded. It turned into Ling Yunkong. Ling Yunkong's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Blood spurted out of his mouth. He did not dare to stay any longer. He turned into a ray of blade radiance and disappeared into the distance. Brat, just you wait. Ling Yunkong's voice came from afar. Lu Ming's eyes flashed a few times, but he did not chase after him. He had some misgivings, not because of himself, but because of the Shao clan. Ling Yunkong was one of the 10 great geniuses of the Hanging Mountain after all. Killing him might infuriate the Hanging Mountain, and at that time, they would dispatch a few domain-enlightened spirit god realm experts. Ling Yunkong could simply leave, and the members of the Shao clan would be in trouble. Therefore Lu Ming did not give chase. At this time, the spectators looked at Lu Ming with eyes full of awe, shock and curiosity. Lu Ming had actually defeated Ling Yunkong. This meant that he was an even stronger genius than Ling Yunkong. But why hadn't he heard of this name before? Did he really not participate in the Battle of Providence? Lu, big brother. Hui and the others were also dumbfounded. They never thought that Lu Ming would be this strong. Even Ling Yunkong was not his opponent. What kind of strength was this? Was this still the same young man who had been injured by the demonic beast? They recalled the time when they'd first met Lu Ming in the chaotic mountain range. At this moment, their beautiful eyes suddenly lit up. At that time, they'd met Lu Ming because of a grade 8 demonic beast's rage. At that time, they'd thought that Lu Ming had been implicated by the grade 8 demonic beast's rage, and had been injured by some other small demonic beasts. But now that they thought about it, the grade 8 demonic beast's rage might have been because of Lu Ming. Lu Ming might have been injured by that grade 8 demonic beast and not some small demonic beast. Xiao Zhan was even more surprised. He'd cultivated for many years, so he knew very well how strong Ling Yunkong was. He'd been at the peak of the 5th level of the spirit embryo realm at his peak, but he'd definitely been instantly killed by Ling Yunkong. However, Ling Yunkong had been easily defeated by Lu Ming. Let's go. We'll leave first. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the spear vanished. He smiled at Hui and the others. Yes, okay. The few of them seemed to have woken up from a dream, and the group of 4 headed out of Lishui City. Lu Ming naturally didn't care about defeating Ling Yunkong. To him, Ling Yunkong wasn't even a match for him. Ling Yunkong's cultivation was weaker than his, so he hadn't even used the power of his bloodline. He'd only used his cultivation and concept to defeat him. The fusion of 5 concepts is indeed much stronger than 4 concepts. It's a pity that the concept of water is still slightly weaker. If it was on par with the other concepts, the explosive power would definitely be even more terrifying. Lu Ming thought to himself. The 4 of them headed north of Lishui City. After leaving the city, the 4 of them changed their appearances and clothes. Hui and Alei's appearances had become much more ordinary and less eye-catching. Lu Ming had also turned into a youth around 30 years old. They kept heading north, crossing over the plain of 10,000 lakes. After flying for about 1,000,000 miles, they stopped at a small island in the middle of a lake. This small island in the middle of the lake was very peaceful and suitable for living in seclusion. Xiao Zhan, Hui, and Alei planned to stay here for the time being. The water vapor here was abundant, and Lu Ming also planned to cultivate here for a period of time. Next, the 4 of them settled down here. Every day, Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the surface of the lake, comprehending the concept of water. To him, he could not afford to waste even the slightest bit of time. The talisman puppet sex yin and yang formation could only last for 5 years. But now almost half a year had passed. Lu Ming felt that time was too tight. He had to seize every bit of time to cultivate and improve himself as soon as possible. Xiao Zhan would disguise himself and go out to gather information every day. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Lu Ming cultivated every day and made great progress in the concept of water. On this day, Xiao Zhan returned with a worried face. Seeing this, Hui and Alei hurriedly asked Xiao Zhan what had happened. At first, Xiao Zhan didn't say anything. Later, he had no choice but to tell the truth. It turned out that he had heard an important piece of news when he went out. Ling Yunkong had returned and seemed to have invited the Floating Sky Mountains experts over. Moreover, he had captured many Shao family disciples who had left. At this time, Ling Yunkong had detained the Shao family disciples and released the news that Lu Xiaoqing, Xiao Zhan, and the others should return. Otherwise he would kill all the Xiao family disciples. Despicable, this Ling Yunkong is actually so despicable. Ahui gritted her teeth. No matter what, Ling Yunkong was still one of the Floating Sky Mountain's top 10 geniuses. Who would have thought that he would be so despicable and shameless? After being defeated by Lu Ming, he actually captured the Xiao family disciples to threaten them. Ahui and Lei gritted their teeth. Xiao Zhan's face was full of worry, but Lu Ming's expression was calm. You guys stay here, I'll go take a look. Lu Ming said. No, little brother Lu, you've helped us too much. This old man will never be able to repay your kindness in this lifetime. I can't let you take any more risks. Xiao Zhan shook his head resolutely. Yeah, big brother Lu, that Ling Yunkong must have found an expert stronger than him. If you go, won't you be in danger? Ahui also said. It's fine, I'm just going to take a look. I won't show myself if I'm not confident. Lu Ming smiled. Hearing Lu Ming's words, they hesitated. Don't worry, you guys wait here for my news. Chapter 1007. Lishui City. In front of the Xiao clan's residence, there were at least 50 Xiao clan disciples tied up and kneeling on the ground. Ling Yunkong was sitting on a chair with an indifferent expression. Beside him were some experts from the Floating Mountain sect. There were many spectators around the Xiao clan. Ling Yunkong's methods are too despicable. He actually used such methods to force Xiao Zhan and Lu Shaoqing to come out. It's indeed despicable, but not all of the Floating Mountain sect's geniuses are like this. Some of them are quite straightforward. I heard that the second-ranked genius of the Floating Mountain sect, Chu Kuang, is very straightforward and likes to make friends. I wonder if that's true? That's true. Speaking of which, Ling Yunkong was defeated by Lu Shaoqing last time, but he still dares to come back. Isn't he afraid of being defeated again? That's because he brought experts with him. Do you see that youth sitting cross-legged on the right side of Ling Yunkong? That's Hai Ziming. What? That's Hai Ziming, the fifth-ranked genius of the Floating Mountain sect? Countless people were discussing, but they kept their voices low for fear of being heard by Ling Yunkong. In the end, more people's gazes fell on the youth on the right side of Ling Yunkong. The youth was wearing a blue robe and had an ordinary appearance. He was the type that couldn't be picked out in a crowd, but after hearing his name, no one dared to look down on him, because he was Hai Ziming. It was said that Hai Ziming was the fastest rising genius of the Floating Mountain sect. He was also the youngest, not even 25 years old. He rose like a comet in the Battle of Karmic Luck, shocking everyone. After the Battle of Karmic Luck, he was ranked 5th among the 10 geniuses of the Floating Mountain sect. He was much stronger than Ling Yunkong. Who would have thought that Ling Yunkong would invite Hai Ziming this time? Clearly, he was here to deal with Lu Shaoqing. Continue to spread the news. If Lu Shaoqing and Xiao Zhan don't appear, I'll kill a Xiao clan disciple every 2 hours. At this time, Ling Yunkong revealed an impatient expression and coldly ordered an old man beside him. Yes. The old man hurriedly nodded. Enough. At this moment, Hai Ziming opened his eyes. His eyes flashed as he spat out 2 words. The old man's expression immediately changed and he stood there motionlessly. Ling Yunkong frowned. Ling Yunkong, I came with you to meet Lu Shaoqing. What you did was too despicable. Hai Ziming said indifferently. Ling Yunkong frowned as his eyes flickered with displeasure, before he forced a smile and said, Junior brother Hai, that Lu Shaoqing and the old man from the Xiao clan are hiding. If we don't use this method, how could they show themselves? Forget about killing people, Yang Qi said. Also, once they arrive, let these people go. They're all people with weak cultivation bases. Killing them would be bad for the reputation of the Hanging Mountain sect. Hai Ziming said. All right, junior brother Hai, I know what to do. Ling Yunkong's voice turned cold. Hai Ziming frowned. If it wasn't for the fact that Ling Yunkong had helped him before he rose to power, he would never have followed Ling Yunkong here to do such a thing. Ling Yunkong, I've already helped you twice. This is the last time. After this, we don't owe each other anything. Hai Ziming said indifferently. Ling Yunkong grunted coldly and didn't say anything. As soon as he finished speaking, Hai Ziming closed his eyes again. Lu Shaoqing is here. Right at this moment, someone exclaimed with surprise. What? Where? Over there. The gazes of the crowd shot towards the sky in unison. Ling Yunkong's spirits shook while his gaze flickered explosively. On the other hand, Hai Ziming opened his eyes as well, and two dazzling spear lights shot out from his eyes. A black-robed young man with his hands behind his back strode through the sky from the north. It was Lu Ming. When Lu Ming arrived at Lishui City and found out that Ling Yunkong hadn't brought a domain-enlightened spirit god, and had only invited a young genius over, Lu Ming didn't conceal himself and directly made an appearance. Obviously, how could a domain-enlightened spirit god possibly be invited by Ling Yunkong to do such a thing? That person would probably be ridiculed by the entire world. Lu Shaoqing. Ling Yunkong stared at Lu Ming and gnashed his teeth as he spoke word by word. What? I didn't teach you enough the last time, so you're looking for a beating this time? Lu Ming glanced at Ling Yunkong and spoke with disdain. This caused Ling Yunkong to gnash his teeth once more. Lu Shaoqing, where's that old fellow from the Xiao clan and those two little girls? Asked Ling Yunkong in a cold voice. You want to know? Why should I tell you? Lu Ming smiled faintly and said, the geniuses of Void Mountain always play such tricks. They used innocent people to draw me out. Now that I've come out, feel free to use any ability you have, alright? How could all of you have come out otherwise? Lu Shaoqing, aren't you very strong? Today, I'll let junior brother Hai Ziming experience your strength, said Ling Yunkong. Oh, so it's a different person? But I'm not interested in fighting now that it's a different person. I'm slightly interested if you fight him yourself. Lu Ming smiled. Ling Yunkong's expression grew even more unsightly. How could he dare to fight him himself? Lu Shaoqing, it's not up to you today. Ling Yunkong laughed coldly. Lu Shaoqing, fight with me. Hai Ziming stood up, his eyes bursting with a strong battle intent. You want to fight me? Sure. Why don't we have a bet? Said Lu Ming. How? Asked Hai Ziming. It's very simple. If I lose, I'll cripple my own cultivation and hand them over to you. I'll also hand over Senior Xiaozhan, Ahui and Ale. But if you lose, you have to swear that you won't touch anyone from the Xiao clan no matter what, said Lu Ming. Why should I agree? You have no choice now. The lives of these Xiao clan disciples are in my hands. You'd better listen to me obediently. Ling Yunkong sneered and refused directly. Is that so? Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Suddenly, Lu Ming took a step forward and used the Nine Dragons' Heaven Stomp, pouncing towards Lu Ming and Ling Yunkong. In the process of pouncing, Lu Ming erupted with two dragon energies. Purple scales immediately appeared on Lu Ming's body. Hide! Lu Ming's mind stirred and his muscles wriggled. That purple scale armor actually did not appear. Instead, it merely covered his skin. It made his body look like it was just filled with a layer of purple light. Lu Ming's physical body had now reached complete rank 8, which was extremely powerful. Lu Ming realized that when he erupted with dragon energies, he could control his physical body so that the scales would not appear on the surface of his skin, but hide under his skin. In this way, the vision would not be too obvious and would not be noticed by people with intentions. Of course, this was related to the strength of the physical body and the eruption of dragon energies. Chapter 1008. Lu Ming unleashed the power of two dragons and performed the 9 dragons sky-stomping steps at the same time. His body was like a ray of light. He was too fast. In an instant he was in front of Ling Yunkong. Although Ling Yunkong was on guard, he was still shocked. He hastily made a move. However, his attack and defense were as fragile as tofu in front of Lu Ming's palm. Lu Ming's palm penetrated all defenses and grabbed Ling Yunkong's throat. The energy burst forth. Ling Yunkong's neck seemed to be broken. He let out a scream and the vital essence in his body almost dissipated. The surrounding people were all stunned. Lu Ming actually restrained Ling Yunkong in one move. It was unbelievable. After a long time, the crowd came to their senses. How dare you? Let go of young Master Yunkong. Do you know that you're courting death? Several old men shouted. They were all Ling Yunkong's trusted subordinates. Shut up. Believe it or not, I'll break his neck now. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Killing intent burst out. The old men hurriedly shut up. Lu Shaoqing, I'm a genius of the Floating Mountain sect. If you kill me, the experts of the Floating Mountain sect won't let you go. Ling Yinkong roared. You've lost so miserably in a fight between peers. Do you really think that the seniors of the Floating Mountain sect will stand up for you? Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the world? Lu Ming sneered. His eyes were cold. Ling Yinkong shuddered, and there was a trace of fear in his eyes. Indeed, in a fight between peers, if he was defeated and killed, the seniors of the sect would take revenge. Didn't the other party have seniors? At that time, the other party's seniors would also take action to kill the young geniuses on their side. In that case, how could the young geniuses in the world have a chance to rise? Wouldn't they all die? Whether it was the Eastern Wilderness, the Central Continent, or other places, this was an unwritten rule. Under normal circumstances, the seniors couldn't take action when the younger generation fought. Of course, special circumstances were an exception. If I want to kill you, it'll be a piece of cake. Do you understand the difference between us now? Lu Ming sneered and continued. However, I won't kill you today. I can also agree to a battle with him. However, my condition is still the same as before. You can swear a blood oath that if you lose, you will never touch the Shao clan in any way. If you lose, I will fulfill my condition. Lu Ming pointed at Hai Ziming. Today, Lu Ming was going to completely resolve this problem for the Shao clan. Otherwise, if this continued, there would be no end to it. On one hand, he wanted to force Ling Yinkong to swear a blood oath. On the other hand, he wanted to display his strength to intimidate them. I promise you if I lose, I won't touch the Shao clan at all, and I won't let anyone touch the Shao clan either. Hai Ziming was the first to speak. In the end, Ling Yinkong had no choice. His life was in Lu Ming's hands, so he could only agree and swear a blood oath. Once a cultivator made a blood oath, they could not go against it. Otherwise, in the future, they would be plagued by inner demons. Not only would it be difficult to improve their cultivation, they might even go berserk. After Ling Yinkong swore a blood oath, Lu Ming flung Ling Yinkong away. Damn it, I hope Hai Ziming can kill this Lu Shaoqing. Ling Yinkong's eyes flickered with cold killing intent. Lu Ming actually dared to treat him like this. This caused his killing intent to become incomparably thick. Moreover, he had lost all faith today. His only hope now was that Hai Ziming could defeat Lu Ming. He still had a lot of confidence in Hai Ziming. He believed that the reason he was caught by Lu Ming was because Lu Ming caught him off guard. If he had been on full guard, Lu Ming wouldn't have been able to capture him so easily. He wasn't the only one who thought so. In fact, many people thought so, because Lu Ming's sneak attack had succeeded just now. Moreover, Ling Yinkong was very clear about Hai Ziming's combat strength. Among all the prodigies of Floating Sky Mountain, Hai Ziming had caught up from behind. He rose up quickly and improved at an astonishing speed. He was considered a rising star. In the Battle of Destiny, Hai Ziming was ranked 5th among the 10 great prodigies of Floating Sky Mountain. However, after half a year, Ling Yinkong was clear that even the 4th-ranked prodigy of Floating Sky Mountain might not be a match for Hai Ziming. Therefore, he had confidence in Hai Ziming. Bang! Hai Ziming stepped out and stood opposite of Lu Ming. A powerful aura burst forth without any concealment. His eyes revealed an intense battle intent and excitement. Peak of the 8th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Hai Ziming didn't conceal anything. Lu Ming could tell with a glance that Hai Ziming's cultivation had already reached the peak of the 8th level of Spirit Embryo Realm. Lu Shaoqing, let me have a taste of your strength. Hai Ziming's palm glowed and an ocean blue long spear appeared in his hand. Hai Ziming also used a spear. His long spear looked like it was forged from a blue gem. There would be water vapor emitting from it from time to time. Under the illumination of the sun, it gave off a colorful glow. Lu Ming's finger moved slightly, and the infinite dragon spear appeared. Hai Ziming's eyes moved and he said, "Good spear. Yours isn't bad either." Lu Ming said. "Then let's fight." Hai Ziming stepped out again and waved his long spear. In the air, spear shadows filled the sky and stabbed towards Lu Ming. Radiance spread out and countless spear shadows seemed to cover all of Lu Ming's paths. Wang! Lu Ming's long spear trembled, and similarly, spear shadows filled the sky and collided with Hai Ziming's spear shadows. Clang! 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 The concentrated collision sounds were like a torrential rain falling onto the ground, endless. The spear shadows that filled the sky completely drowned out Lu Ming and Hai Ziming. Outsiders could only see the spear shadows and couldn't see them. There were at least a few thousand sounds before the sound stopped. The spear shadows that filled the sky disappeared and two figures appeared. Azure Wave Spear Art. The long spear in Hai Ziming's hand spun and brandished. It was as if there were several large rivers revolving around the long spear. With a terrifying power, it charged towards Lu Ming. Spear concept. There is another concept that is also very terrifying. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Hai Ziming's talent was astonishing. He had actually comprehended two powerful concepts, and had merged them into one. His battle strength was very powerful. The infinite dragon spear glowed with five-colored radiance. At the same time, the infinite dragon spear operated the suppressing Hell Heaven skill. Every spear strike had a terrifying power that could suppress everything. Boom! The two spears collided. In the end, the large river collapsed and Hai Ziming's long spear was sent flying. Hai Ziming's body retreated rapidly. He retreated 100 meters before stopping with a grave expression. On the other hand, Ling Yunkong's expression was extremely ugly. Lu Ming was actually so powerful. The combat ability that he displayed now had already surpassed the combat ability that he had displayed during the battle with him previously. Obviously, Lu Ming was still hiding his strength. Powerful. Take my strongest move. Hai Ziming's eyes glowed. A long spear appeared above her head. There was also a large river revolving around the spear, and 6 golden chakras floating. Level 6 Divine Grade Bloodline. Hai Ziming used Bloodline Fusion, and turned into a long spear. Boundless Ocean. Hai Ziming's voice came out from the long spear. The long spear vibrated and spun in the air before thrusting out. Whoosh! Lu Ming seemed to see an ocean. The waves were shocking and had the power to destroy everything as they surged towards Lu Ming. Ocean concept. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.